Alright, YouTube. Be a garden update. Still waiting for our carrots to come in here. They should have been ready, but they're not, so they're not nearly as prevalent as we wanted. Um, Radishes are coming back in. Plenty more radishes here. We're getting more coming up. As Howie says, they're the first food you're going to eat after the balloon goes up. The first thing you plant, radish. Our lettuce is hanging around. Actually got a little bit off that one. These three are just hanging in there, so even with the heat, surprisingly. So I don't know what's going on with that, but hey, good news. We'll see how much lettuce we get out. Replanted turnip, so we pulled all our turnips and replanted. And I planted more carrots here, so we're getting more carrots, hopefully. Cabbage, our lone two cabbage plants are hanging in there. They don't seem to be too drastically affected by the heat, but they're just not growing. Our onions coming around. Onions. Need to plant something else here because none of the onions planted here came up. Now here's something I got a question for the panel of Howie gets it or whatever. These are perimeter plants, onions that I planted. They came from the old garden. When we moved, I just took some old ones we had in storage and planted them up here for the perimeter because I'd read they'd kept pests away. And they've come up really well, and I'm getting ready to trying to get some seed here, it looks like. But they're not really watered. I mean, that one right there is a little bit, but this one's not even getting any direct water. Do they store water during the winter, and that's how they keep going? Same with this one. This one's not near the water at all. So I'm wondering if the onion, the root, stores water in the winter and prevails through the summer. Our bees coming to visit. What's up, guys? So that's just a question. But I'm glad. I'd planted them all the way down up here, but that's usually the only ones that hung around through the winter. So I'm hoping to get more results like this and have the onions around the perimeter. But here's our onions that are coming. More onions. Our beans are getting decimated. Our beans are getting absolutely hammered. Here's our one low pole bean, and our bush beans are just, I don't know if it's I've tried to water them a little bit extra, but they're just getting, those two at the end dried up down there. So everybody's just getting hammered by I don't know if it's the heat or if it's something else. They seem to be getting plenty of water, but I've never had beans just revel up like that and basically die on us. So I don't know what the deal is. The pole bean's hanging in there though. Zucchini, it's the only one of the four planted. Now here's once again, I'm overwhelmed with tomatoes. These tomatoes are all self-starters. They're all leftovers from whatever seed fell last year, during harvest or whatever. Just super hardy plants. I don't know if I'm assuming it's a sandy soil. These are all volunteer tomatoes. And there's a bunch more. I don't have tomatoes are not gonna be my problem, I don't think. As long as I've got seed or I've got this area, I can just throw water in it and I think I'll be all right. This one over here doesn't really have water next to it. It's got one emitter right here, but it's probably getting out of there, but still. All right, sunflowers looking really good. I can grow sunflowers and tomatoes. Check and check. But our JBL pumpkins, that was a second planting. All these sunflowers are doing good. This tall one down here on this end, this is a tall guy. These guys are looking really good. So they should be flowering a couple weeks. JBL pumpkin here. Starting to get some flowers, I think. Trying to. The heat doesn't help. But hopefully those bees will get to have a place to. There's some bee flying out. This is a volunteer squash of some sort, I believe. I don't think this is JBL. There's a volunteer tomato. This pumpkin is not looking good. It's struggling. I tried to put some more water on it, but it is not coming around. I don't know what it is. It even had a little growth down there. If you can see it started a melon. and it's just not having it, unfortunately. Replanted our second row of summer squash. I got a couple, so we're actually getting some summer squash, it looks like. And one here, and that was from 2 weeks ago. And this past week I planted winter squash, and it looks like we got one here. I think that's the only one. It's a little thin on that, probably replant. I'm waiting for some winter squash to come up along here. And these are volunteers from last year. I think these are going to be the small pie pumpkins. And here, I think that's based upon where these are located. This is from some of those small pumpkins that just went to rot in the garden during the year last year. So that's going on. Watermelon, our best looking watermelon plant. Man, I don't know. I'm trying to protect these over here to keep them from suffering a fate. I've had like 3 or 4 watermelon plants get decimated by something. This guy over here is coming up, and one more, I think. We got one hiding out over here on the end. This guy's doing all right. So hopefully, I wanted to have watermelon in July. I don't think it's going to happen. Gotta have that watermelon. So, then corn. Our corn started coming up. I got 2 different types planted. This guy's over here. Something happened in the middle here, so I replanted today. Replanted the same breed as here. This is a volunteer squash. They came from over there by the JBL pumpkins. I transplanted it because it was kind of out of the way, so we'll see if it holds on. And none of the corn out this way came up, so I'm going to replant that too, I think. The other breed of corn here, I need to weed. More weeding needs to be done. And that's our wrap up, I think, of where we're at. If you can hear me through the wind, hopefully you've heard some of that. But yeah, we got a lot of blooms coming on here, and I'm pretty sure these are the smaller pumpkins, like volleyball sized, if or smaller even. And they usually come in pretty quick. So, hope everybody's doing the things and having some better results on certain things, or better results on everything, hopefully for you. But we ate some radish, and hopefully we get some carrots here soon. And I don't know, this zucchini might come around. But it's been hot today. Pretty hot this week, and today's the hottest day, supposedly close to 100, if it wasn't 100. Probably felt like 100 sitting here in all these plants, right? But yeah, let me know. Holla at me if you want a tomato, as they say. Like, I got tomato plants all over the place. I'm gonna try to cultivate as many as I can, but man, they just pop up in the weirdest places. And I'm afraid if I transplant them, the roots will just not have the nutrients they need with the soil and whatnot. So, I hope all the things you're doing for you are going well, or however Dad on YouTube says it. But yeah, that's our status. There's our sunflowers. We'll be looking at real flower here, hopefully by the end of the month. Or wait, this is June. Yeah, by the end of the month, maybe. Having some sunflowers out. But prep hard, YouTube. Live free.